Hi, welcome to Dreamcatcher, the program where you can find peace through understanding dreams and visions. Today's program is made up of people sending dreams over their phones. If you have a dream and you can't make it to the studio, you can tape it right there in your own home where you feel comfortable. And let's find out what it is the Lord is saying to you. He's talking to Alicia on this program, and he's talking to Jason, a pastor who had a dream that was pretty disturbing. See what the Lord is saying to them. You might find out what he's saying to you as well.
These 5 dreams have taken place within a 2-month span. And so in the first dream is from a friend that she told me about. She had a dream about many things the Lord was showing her. And one part of that was her and I met up in our church parking lot that we attend. And she saw me and she told me that I was very, very pregnant. And so there were some other things to her dream, but that part she felt like was for me. And so then I had a dream. And in that dream, me and my husband drove to a local city nearby and we went to Costco. And when we were in the parking lot, I spotted another friend of mine who I haven't seen in a long time, but she's one of those people that it doesn't matter how much time passes, she's just a soul sister. And so I quickly hopped out of our van and I ran over to hers and gave her a big hug. And I was so excited to tell her that I was pregnant. And I was newly pregnant. I wasn't showing. I didn't even have any typical pregnancy symptoms yet. And so she was really happy for me. And then that's all that happened in that dream. Then I had another dream, and I was in my family room of my house, and I had noticed that I had started my monthly cycle, and I hadn't had a cycle in quite some time. And so it was the first one in a long time. And so it kind of caught me by surprise. And so I was like, okay. And then that was all that happened in that dream. Then someone in our family, maybe some of your viewers don't know, but I'm related to Robin through marriage. And so we had a family member that told a few people to tell me that she had a dream that I was pregnant. And she even said that she might have thought she had that dream twice in the same night, but she wasn't 100% sure. And so I didn't get any more details on that, just the simple fact that she said I was pregnant. Then the last one, the 5th dream I had. And in this dream, I was pregnant and I was at the end of the pregnancy. And my midwife was nearby to help me to deliver the baby. And I remember telling her, it's time. Like, I feel like I have to push. I could feel the pressure of the baby. And I felt like she didn't quite take me seriously on how close I felt like I was to delivering the baby. And so then something happened and the dream shifted. And when the dream shifted, I looked at her and I saw her sitting in a rocking chair holding my newborn baby, and she was feeding it a bottle. And I was confused. I thought, what is she doing? And I was confused by the fact that she was feeding it a bottle, because I thought, well, I just had the baby. I should be nursing the baby. And this is her area of expertise. Like, why is she doing this? It just felt like odd behavior. And I don't know that anybody had said anything to me in the dream, or if I just automatically knew it, but I knew that I had passed out and that the baby was delivered while I was unconscious. And so that's all that happened in that dream. And so that's the end of the series. That's 5 dreams that I just feel are so connected. I know that the Lord is showing me that there is something to come. There is something new. Now, I do want to say this. I have had friends tell me that they've had a dream I was pregnant, and I was literally pregnant. I have 6 kids. I'm very familiar with the pregnancy and the birthing process and all of that. But I know that this is not a literal pregnancy, and that this is something that the Lord is showing me is to come through me. And because I've had all of these dreams kind of back to back, and then these people in my life have had these dreams about me, I feel like it might be something that is coming soon. And so I look forward to whatever you have to say about that. And I know that you have a wealth of knowledge on this topic, and I thank you for all that you do.
Alicia, oh my goodness. I guess you do know God is getting ready to birth something in your life. And the nice thing about it is that you have confirmation. So many times the Lord has something new for us, a ministry, a calling, a different direction, and we're not sure. We question, God, is this you? Is it time? I hope that you realize with you and your friends having these dreams, the Lord is telling you and He's giving you confirmation that He is about to birth something, and maybe even something that's already started, because in one of the dreams, the midwife is already holding your baby. But in that dream, she's also feeding your baby, not necessarily something that would hurt this baby, but not the way that what you know is best for her. And so that's important. That's a very important part of the dream. People that love us, people who have our best interest at heart, people who are experts in their field, sometimes don't know the best choice for what God has for us. If this was her baby, perhaps a bottle at that moment, at that early time in the baby's life, may have been the right choice. But for you, this new thing that the Lord has for you, you are the one who are going to know how to nourish it, how to get it going, how to promote it, whatever the situation is. And so as much as we need godly counsel, and we appreciate the fact that people want to help, even if they are an expert in their field, and even if that field is related to your ministry, remember, it's your ministry, it's your direction, it's your baby. The Lord gave it to you. He trusts you with it, and He expects you to do what you know is the right thing for you and for the situation. So enjoy it. I hope it happens soon. According to the Word, when you have a dream more than once, it's because God has decreed it, and it's going to happen quickly. And like I said, I believe this may be something that has already started, and maybe you don't even realize yet that that's what it is. It's so new. But recognize it, and be thankful for it, and ask the Lord to give you direction, because even though you have people around you who love you, you are the one that God has chosen to do this. Thanks so much for sending this.
My name is Jason Skinner, and I never have any dreams. And this morning I woke up and I was in what I think was a hospital, and I was being pulled off a ventilator, and I felt the presence of my pops who passed away all around me. I am a very Christ-centered man. I'm the pastor founder of ministries in this area, and it kind of troubled me because I was on my back and the ventilator was being taken off.
Yeah, I can understand why that's troubling, especially if you aren't accustomed to having dreams. I believe this was a warning dream. The Lord is showing you the plan of the enemy. The enemy would like to do something, whether it's an accident or a sickness, that will do exactly what you saw in the dream, to get you flat on your back. And a ventilator being removed doesn't even sound good in itself. But the nice thing about dreams, when they're from the Lord, is it doesn't mean they're going to happen. It means the Lord is showing you something. And I believe in this case, He's showing you the plan of the enemy. The enemy hates us all, but he has got a target on the back of pastors and church leadership. And so I just encourage you. You can speak against this. You can speak in the name of Jesus. You can declare safety over that. And quite frankly, you can cancel the plan of the enemy. We know that no weapon forged against you will prosper. So we claim that. We know that the Lord has a plan and a purpose for you. And part of that plan and purpose is for hope and for a future. And the enemy is trying to tell you something different. And if he can just get you fearful, if he can just bring a spirit of fear into your person, then that alone can cause you to get sick. But I just stand in agreement with you that you are a man of God, you have a work to do, and you will not be in a hospital bed. You will not need any kind of breath in your lungs other than the breath of God, that no respirator is needed for you now or in the near future. And I just claim that. I claim victory over this. So I speak peace to you and divine health in the name of Jesus. And thanks for sending this. God bless you, Pastor.
So in this dream, me and my husband, we buy a new house, and it's a fixer-upper. And it's large, and it's spread out with many rooms and many bedrooms, big enough to house our family and give us lots of space to spread out. And we begin fixing up a part of the house. And it starts to resemble the house that we live in now. Then I walk to the other part of the house that we haven't done anything to, and it's been a while, and I'm like, oh, we kind of forgot about this part of the house. And I noticed, like, it's raining outside, and there's water leaking through the drywall, and I start contemplating, like, do we need to call the insurance company? And we had previously put a claim for damage before with the insurance company, so I wasn't even sure that they would believe us or think that we're legit, and so I wasn't sure what we were going to do about that. And then I began to think, like, we have 6 bathrooms. We have enough bathrooms for all of our children and us to not be cramped, but none of them are really functioning. Like the bedrooms that we're not using are like full of clutter, and I'm just like, you know what? We're not really using this. I would rather have less space and have it nice and organized and fixed up and usable than to have all this open, empty space that's just like junky, not usable, and in disrepair. Then I notice in one of the bathrooms that isn't working, I see my husband sitting on like this material that's like made like what you would see in shower walls, only it's made into a slide. And he's sitting at the top of the slide, and I know that the bottom of the slide is an exit out of the bathroom into maybe like another part of the house or outside or something. And I'm just like wondering what he's doing. So I remember walking through the hallway, and there was like old blue carpet, and there's like wood paneling and just like all this outdated stuff. And at some point during all of that, a friend of mine stops by with her little girl, and she tells me that she's leaving for California, and she wanted to know if we would be able to watch her little girl while she's gone. And I wanted to in the dream. I thought, oh, I wish I could, but I really cannot take on another commitment. I cannot commit to this. I don't feel like I can watch her little girl and give her the attention that she needs while she's gone. And so I was resistant to commit to that. And then the dream ended.
The house is an old house. It's a fixer-upper. So it's your life, but it's kind of yours and your husband's because you're buying it together. And I believe it has to do with your past experiences, past teachings, past beliefs, because it's a fixer-upper and it's old. So we know it's not something that's current. And in the house, there's a forgotten area. So think about your life. You know, we get busy. You have 6 children and a ministry, and you know, and you homeschool, and you do all these things, and your husband works, and it's very easy to have an area of your life or even your past, because it was forgotten. I feel like it's the past, an area that is kind of not dealt with as often, or not recognized. And so you're going through life in this house, and there's some damage done, and probably everyone born has something that has damaged them in their past. And most of us feel like we've got over, but maybe we haven't. Maybe there's something still there that is is the reason we think the way we think, or the reason we act the way we act. Or, we are a product of our experiences and our environment. And so you have this area that needs some work. And you've even thought about the insurance claim. To me, that feels like you've thought about, maybe I should talk to a pastor, a counselor, someone older than me who's been through it before. You've thought about seeking help, but you're not sure how they will receive it. And if you know in your heart that, because in the dream you're saying that you're not sure that they're going to think you legit, but you know in your heart that you are, and that these are real issues. If you feel like you need to talk to someone, a counselor, a pastor, whomever, go with that feeling, because you can always stop. You don't have to do it forever. It's good to have the counsel of many godly people putting input into your life. You have 6 bathrooms, but even some of those aren't being used, and it's wasted and it's cluttered. And that speaks to how blessed that so many of us are, especially in America, that we have so much. We have more than we need. And those things can become clutter in our lives. Those are the things that can stop us from spending time in the Word, spending time with our children, whatever it is, that those distractions that the enemy would like to bring in. And the world tells us that we need more and we need more. And your husband is very successful and you all are very blessed. And it's easy to acquire more and more bathrooms, like the dream says, for it's more than you need, and that it's okay to live a slower, simpler life. And that may be what the Lord is saying to you is, you don't need more. You don't need this. You just, what you have is wonderful. It goes on to say that there's, I'm trying to read what you said because it was pretty long. Your husband's on that slide in the bathroom that looks like it goes outside of the house. He's probably questioning the same thing. How much of this do we need? Maybe I'll just get on this thing and slide out and we'll just do something totally different. And that kind of speaks to your dream prior to this one about the crossroads. You all may be both getting ready to make some major life changes that will afford you more time, quality time. You've got a lot of children and you've got your hands full, homeschooling and he's supporting, and it may be time to take a breath. And I feel like that might be what that crossroads in the other dream is about. It goes on, you have outdated decor. Trying to see. Oh, and then the friend that's going to California. The outdated decor, I'll speak to that first. It's about, you don't have time. You just don't have time to keep up with the trends in the dream. Well, you don't have time to keep up with everything life has. I mean, you've got 6 kids. They're all going to have sports they want to do. There's probably music because the family they are in is a very musical family. There's a lot going on. And then you have a friend who wants help from you. And I believe the Lord is saying to you, in the dream, you said, you really wanted to do it, but you knew you couldn't commit. And the reason you couldn't commit was because you couldn't give her the attention that she needed while her mom was gone. I'm not totally sure that this little girl is a little girl in real life. I think it may be that this friend may be called to a ministry or a calling or teaching or something that she is called to do, and she's asking for your help in it. And you don't have to commit, and you don't have to feel guilty for not committing, because God has enough on your plate that it's okay to say no. And it's okay to just say, I can't take on anymore. My husband and I have our hands full. So I think this is about for you to learn. It's okay to say no. And it's okay to not keep acquiring and it's okay to simplify. It's okay to slow down. because there's just, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. I see you at family gatherings, and for those of you who may have missed it, Alicia is married into my family, and she's got these 6 children, and they're polite and they're pleasant to be around, and that is the most important thing. And I know you know that, or else you would be doing something different. But it's okay also to say no, and it's okay for you and your husband to have some time with just you and the kids. So I think overall this dream is telling you to look at your life, look at your past. Is there something are there dreams from your past? Maybe there was something you always wanted to do, and life has happened, and now you don't have time, and you're so busy doing this, and things are getting away from you. It's okay to say no to some things, even things that you love, so you can do something else. So consider that as well.
Well, it's time for another segment of Dream Catcher. A place where you can find understanding. Now, I love that word. In all your wisdom, get understanding. We have a scripture that teaches us that. And sometimes we know what we're doing, but we don't know how to do it. I was a missionary several years back, a lot younger, and the Lord gave me a poem after I got off the missionary field because I didn't understand. I had the wisdom and I had the knowledge that that's what God wanted me to do, but I didn't have the understanding why. And so one day I was in have you ever been in a depressed mood, thinking, God, you've left me? I'm probably talking about me. But I was in that depressed mode, come off the missionary field, went to work, making money. And he gave me a poem. And I feel like sharing it with you today. It's called Day in the Middle of Darkness. When darkness hovers over you, like the shadow of years gone by, and you've pondered and questioned in your heart, has all I've done been just a lie? And all around you there seems to be nothing but turmoil, trouble, and strife. Yours is not to question when, where, or why. Yours is to say, Lord, here am I. Remember, He's the potter. We're the clay. When He's through molding, He'll turn our nights into day. Till next time, will you do me a favor? Catch your dream. Catch your dream.
So as I was listening to the interpretation that you sent, the Lord dropped into my spirit the word priorities. And that is what I have been walking out the last 6 months or so, just really moving things around in my life, getting rid of things that aren't necessary, things that fill my time that I just need to say no to. There's lots of things that we can do that are good, but it doesn't always mean that they are God things. And so I've really just been trying to focus on what is for right now. What is the most important thing right now in this season of life? The Lord is just really pressing upon me. My children are young and at home, and that is really the first ministry. That is what needs my attention the most. That is what's most important in what I've been entrusted with. And then as the Lord brings other things into my life that are outside of my home, He will fold it in my life in a way that fits with my family. And so it's really just been a time of saying no to a lot of things. And not that the things are bad, not that I've been contemplating doing things that are out of character or not okay, in sinful ways. But, we can become too busy, and one thing that the Lord started showing me about myself is that if I have too many things going on, I'm not going to be able to do them all well. But if I have 2 or 3 things that I focus on and I just give it my best in that, I will be able to do them well. And I think that really just applies to a lot of people. Ecclesiastes says there's a time and a season for every activity under the sun. And, just because it's a no right now doesn't mean that those things are going to be a no forever. And so I really appreciated you talking about all the different scenarios and all of the different symbols, because I can see in those details, I have been walking out those things prayerfully in my mind. The Lord's been highlighting things that, I need to focus on that a little more. I know one particular thing in the dream where everything was really nice over here, but then I kind of forgot about all the stuff over there. Was, I've hyper-focused on some areas, but now I need to turn my attention to some other areas that have been collecting some dust, so to speak. And, it's not a huge condemning thing. It's not, I don't feel like God is pointing his finger at me and saying, oh, well, you've been neglecting this stuff. It's saying, hey, now's the time to look at this stuff over here. This is what's most important. And I think it's so important for us to do that all the time. Life is constantly changing. Seasons of life are constantly changing. The people that are around us are growing. I know for me personally, raising a family, my children are always changing and growing. Their needs are changing and growing. I'm changing and hopefully growing too. And so, it's just so important for us to evaluate. And also too, it also showed me that it's like grooming a muscle. When I focus on these several things, that God has for me, it really is the groundwork for the other things that God's going to bring in later. Not everything is for right now. I look back in the Old Testament and so many people, even if they got a word or somebody spoke over them of what they were going to do with their lives, it didn't necessarily mean that they were going to start walking that day in the calling that God had for them. And so I think it's so important to focus on the here and the now and what's right in front of us versus looking too far ahead, And so we want to look at what's in front of us right now with an eternal mindset. And for me, that is my children. They're young and they're only going to be young for a short amount of time. And, I can't take things and all these other things that I would like to do into eternity with me. But I can take my children into eternity with me, as I pour into them and teach them. And then hopefully, they have to make that choice on their own. And so I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I dream long-winded. And so thank you for always taking the time to comb through all of that.
I want to say thank you to both Alicia and to Jason for taking the time to videotape their dreams and sending them in. If you have a dream and you can't make it to the studio, videotape it and send it to us. Send it to us in Messenger on Facebook. That's the easiest way. And let's find out what the Lord is saying to you. Catch us here on Dreamcatcher and catch your dreams.